Hey everyone, this is Andrew, and in this video I'm back with another One Synth challenge. In this case, I'm making a whole track using just Ableton Live's operator. And if you enjoy this, you can actually click a link in the description to download this live set for free. And for people that don't have Live, I have exported some of the loops and sounds from this so that you can still get some stuff if you don't use Ableton Live. So anyways, if I'll just start at the top and I'll work down. Actually, no, start at the bottom. The drums are probably the most interesting part, so I'll start there. Basically what I did is I got a drum rack, and inside some of the slots I put in instances of operator. And so I can actually open this up, and every time I click a different one, you'll see the settings that I use to create the drum sound. So I'll walk you through them quickly, because a lot of people aren't familiar with how to create drums using synthesizers. So basically the process for this is you're modulating the pitch of a note, so you have a low note and then just kind of going and that's how you get the typical bass sound. Now to further that, I have envelopes for these. What I did is I created a spike in the second operator, which is I'm just using this configuration, whatever you call that, but basically B is modulating A, so it creates a little attack basically. And it's very, very short. It's 100 milliseconds. So that's what creates a little more click at the beginning. If we go over to the snare, it's a similar process where you have a note that is actually pitch envelope, just like the bass drum, except it's a higher note. And then to create some of the harmonics, what you're doing is you're adding some noise. So in this case, I'm using this configuration again. So I have B modulating A with some noise, and then I have some pitch, or I have some FM modulating some noise. So that's what creates that. Now to create the clap, I basically just got noise. I think in this case it's a looped noise sample, and they're modulating each other, or actually no, they're staggered. So they're not modulating each other at all, and they're all just kind of staggered in time. So you see all of these attack times that are staggered by a little bit. You can go in the envelope and see that. And that just creates the impression of 4 different hits happening. Then you just play with the sound. Now for the hi-hat, this is even easier because you can just get a randomized noise. This isn't even a sample, I believe. This is the white noise generation. And then for that, I have a very short envelope. And then I also have a filter. And that's how you make a hi-hat. How to make a hi-hat that's open, you just make it longer. So it's very easy. Now these other sounds, I don't know if I use, but the crash is very similar to the open hi-hat. It's longer, play around with the filter settings. The stack, it's also similar, but it has a little more. I think I used a FM modulator on the sound to give it a little more attack. And then again, it's just fooling around with the filtering. Cowbell, I think that's the only one that's kind of like a standard note with some pitch envelope. So yeah, that's the drum kit. And then you just basically drop a bunch of instances of operator inside your drum kit and make your own drum kit. Then you can bounce the sounds to audio if you want, then you have the drum samples forever. So these sounds as WAV files are also included in that free download. So I have a little announcement to make before we continue with the rest of the video. Today's the last day of my free Generis Studios giveaway contest. If you win, you get to pick any single one of my Generis Studios products. I'll pick you, I'll contact you, and you just tell me what you want, and I'll give you a free code for it, and then you're good to go. So what I'm doing is every 50 entries, another winner will be drawn. So at the time of recording this video, there's 80-something entries. So if we push it over 100, there'll be a third winner, and if it gets pushed to 150, there'll be a fourth winner. Just make sure to join the contest before tonight at like 11:55, I think is the cutoff. So yeah, anyways, back to the video. Now I'll go to the Pluck Sound and open this up. And again, if you do the free download in the description, you will actually get access to these instrument racks, so you can play for yourself. But in this case, I hit a note, but it looks a little crazy. So I'm using the LFO Max for Live device to modulate these operators, and I'm just using the standard 4 in series FM modulation. And I just chose different waves for this. A lot of operators just trial and error. And then all this stuff that's put on the end of it, it looks like a lot, but really it's very simple. I have an EQ where I'm cutting off pretty much all the low so it doesn't interfere with my basses. And I have some compression to make sure the volumes don't get out of whack. I have some delay. I have some reverb. And then I have this other effect rack that I'm using. This I'm not actually touching. I just imported it because it was convenient. And then I have a sidechain compressor for the bass drum and a sidechain compressor for the snare drum. And that's that whole thing. So going on to the lead. This is almost identical, so everything beyond the actual instrument is identical to Pluck's, I believe. There's a little bit, there's a little bit of different settings just because the sounds are different, but I added a saturator in the middle of it just to spice things up. That's why it's a little saturated when you hear it. Now the actual operator settings, I think, are exactly like the Pluck Sound. The only thing that I did differently is that if you look at the Plucks, actually, if you look at the MIDI in the Plucks, I'm using the repeat function on my push controller. So that's what makes it sound so different. I think the settings are, in fact, exactly the same. So the last two bass sounds are actually the same as the lead sound in terms of their raw tone. So I'll play that, and I'll play the bass 2, and then I'll play the regular bass. And when they're using the mix, they sound completely different. And then I'll play this one. And then I'll play the lead. And the big difference between the three is the bass 2 has echo on it, just like the lead sound, but it's played in a different register, so it gives a different tone. Also, I never use the lead and the bass 2 sound on top of each other. Now, the bass sound is basically just that pure patch with no effects. I mean, it has the EQ and compression, and just to make it sit more like a bass. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There's really like one operator synth sound that I made for this, and just by how I EQ'd them and compressed them and added effects on them, makes them sound like they're completely different entities. So I'm really just using one patch for pretty much all four of these with some slight variations. And then the drums are all created using operator as well. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe for more. If you want a free download of this Ableton live set and the WAV files, you can click the link in the description to join. And as a reminder again, it is the last day for the giveaway contest, so click that link in the description if you want to join. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.